Mounce, BBG, chapter 21, sentence 8. We're getting close here. All right. Obviously, apart from thinking about the verb, if you take a quick glance at the rest of the sentence, you see this is probably a direct object, probably accusative, singular, all that kind of stuff. Then you see what looks like is something that's probably the subject, because you got a nominative singular, or I'm sorry, nominative plural, masculine, and then probably a possessive. So his, that's going to be easy enough. The disciples of him, or his disciples, that's easy enough as far as the subject, and that tells you you've probably found the subject there. And then you have some more accusative singular things going on here. So this doesn't, not anywhere close to this, so you're going to have to figure out what to do with that. But let's just run with what we know. We know this is probably the subject clause, his disciples. Then you take a look at the verb, and hopefully you recognize it as coming from ep eratao. And if it were present active, we'd be looking at an epsilon here instead of an eta, and this is technically from epi, so that's actually a prefix. That's why the augment is here. So you know that, and then you see this omega nu, and you're going, hey, it looks like a genitive plural. But the deal is, hear yourself say the verb again. Recognize eperatao tells you it's a contract verb, so this is actually an elongation. And then you're going to think about, okay, well then really what I want to see in my head is an omicron nu, and then I'm going to run with either a first singular or a third plural. So if you're trying to figure out whether it's a first singular or a third plural, well, say, well, do I have a subject? Yes, I have a plural subject. So as soon as I have a plural subject, this absolutely positively has to be a third plural. So then we go with auton as an easy direct object, as in the accusative as him. So and of course that lines up with the autu here. So his disciples were asking him, right? So again, if you have a present stem with an augment, you're dealing with an imperfect. Present stem plus augment is an imperfect. So then third plural again. So his disciples were asking him, and then you got this tain parabolain, which is the parable. So really what you have here is this kind of verb that can take what's called a double accusative. So who was asking, who they were asking, and what they were asking could be the two objects of the verb. And again, you have what's called a double accusative. So in this case, his disciples were asking him, and what were they asking him? They were asking him the parable, or about the parable. And of course, we would say about the parable, not just the parable. His disciples were asking him about the parable would be the better translation here, but simply because you have a double accusative.